It's been a while, Gonzo. We've even managed to win 2 games in a row since we've last done a cup of tea.
Haven't we just? And the feeling is better. There's a more positive vibe around the club. Certainly a more positive vibe around us fans as well. It's easy to get overexcited and try and rein yourself in, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let myself be excited.
How have you been over the last 3 weeks? I think it's been since we sat down.
Well, for 99.9%, I've been fantastic. But I'm coming down with the snivels, mate. I'm feeling a little bit of the lurgy coming on, you know. And the ridiculous thing is, I've had a flu jab, so it can't be flu, so it must just be a cold. But you know, I feel like absolute crap, mate.
Well, that's not good. Did you? One of you people that are watching right this very second, someone is our 2.5 millionth viewer on this channel. Gonzo, someone right now is our 2.5 millionth viewer. It might be the person that's thinking, "Is it me?" It might very well be that person.
It might be me watching you.
It's not you. You don't watch these back. I don't watch them back either. We know what's said. We don't need to watch them back, but someone's watching it, and there are 2.5 million views. It's going all right. But if there's anyone that has a child that watches our videos or comes to our boats, either or if you are a child, go and tell your mum and dad quickly about this bit and let them listen to this. If you have any children that watch our videos, please can you email us at hammerschat@gmail.com. Just give us an email and we'll tell you more about why in the email anyway. Just getting it done at the start in case you get a bit bored halfway through and you miss it. But anyone that's got a child 13 years or younger or something, please get in touch. Gonzo, today it came out, Arnautovic is out. He obviously went off the hamstring injury against Cardiff last night, and he's out until after Christmas, so 4 weeks or so roughly. Just in time for the January transfer window, if you want to be really cynical. But
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, he's conveniently he's due back when the transfer window opens, I think. It's just I don't know. It depends you want to look at it. I think a week ago, I think this would have been awful news. Since then, Hernandez has scored 2 and Perez has scored 2. And I think that takes the wounds a little bit less deep, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too long ago, let's be fair, that we didn't have any strikers at all, really, and it was dire crisis time anytime that anybody, particularly Andy Carroll, was injured. Things do seem different now, and all right, I mean, to be fair, Perez, from my own point of view, certainly is forgotten man. I don't travel to a game and think, oh, good, Lucas Perez is playing, or Lucas Perez is on the bench. It's almost he's become the forgotten man. But what it does is it shows that Pellegrini has created some squad depth, actually, and with Hernandez coming back, he is our record signing, as our record wage earner, let's say, and he's a world-class striker, and we should be pleased to have him. He looks motivated, which is good. He looks to be playing centrally, which is nice, you know, for him. His early start at West Ham. We don't want to blame him totally. It must have been easy for him to get his head down because he came in and immediately was playing wide. He's not a wide player. Everybody knows that. So with him in there and Andy Carroll coming back, it's not doom and gloom if one of them is injured. And you just feel, as I mentioned in a review last night, with our creative players coming to the fore like Anderson, it's not the be all and end all. And as you mentioned, goals can come from lots of different areas of the team. So it's good. It's good news that we've got cover, but for his injury, nobody wants to be a one-man team.
It's definitely a blow, though. I mean, I do think there's no one panicking yet. No one's panicking anymore. And a couple of weeks ago, you could have been forgiven for saying or hinting we were a one-man team. But since then, a few players, Hernandez and Anderson in particular, have stepped up a little bit and taken responsibility. I think it's been a month since Arnautovic has scored, actually, believe it or not. I think it has been a month. I think it's the start of November since he last found the net for us. It's risky, though, because while Perez and Hernandez have scored twice, they did play against Newcastle and Cardiff, who were both awful on the day. They were easy opponents to score against for those players. We're now in the run of fixtures where we need to be picking up points. There's a lot of pressure on them two and Andy Carroll. There's a lot of pressure on the three of them, but it's good competition to have. And you'd be challenged to find a team outside the top 6, or even including some of the top 6 that's actually got 4 strikers of that ability. And yes, Arsenal have Lacazette and Aubameyang, but then after that they've got Danny Welbeck, and after that they're down into the youth players, I believe, unless I'm forgetting someone. You go to Chelsea, they've got Morata and Giroud, but then again, apart from that, they're down to the younger players, etc. So to have 4 players of that ability and wages and stuff is quite a big thing especially for a club like West Ham, and it's up to them to step up to the plate and fill Arnautavic's shoes. But are you confident they will, or are you a little bit worried?
Well, I think the run of games suits West Ham. I think that's the thing. It's fallen in our favour. And how many times over the years have we seen fixtures not fall in our favour? You said Cardiff and Newcastle were poor. Well, you know, we are facing a run against some poor teams coming up. So that's absolutely fine. You know, we have to deal with that. And I'll be disappointed. So who's up after Palace? Is it Fulham after Palace?
Yeah, we've got Watford coming up as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe Watford. Watford are not poor. Watford are a decent team, but you would be disappointed if Perez, Carroll, or Hernandez can come up with some goals between them against Crystal Palace and Fulham. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree. Transfer wise, though, January's just round the corner now. 3-4 weeks away till January. So the transfer rumours are slowly bubbling up. Not quite in overdrive yet, but we'll get there sooner or later. Have you seen any transfer rumours that you would like to talk about yet, or are you waiting for me to give you the latest ones?
Well, I'll try and talk about one, but bearing in mind I don't know the player's name and I don't know anything about him, I'm not sure how well the conversation will go. But apparently they do have their eye on this guy. Does he play for Atalanta or something? He's in the Atalanta's Italy. It's Atlanta, which is in the MLS. Apparently scores lots of goals. Very good player, Argentinian player. And somebody said something to me a few days ago, and they said, and you know, I mean, somebody who knows what he's talking about said that he feels in this transfer window that there's not going to be an awful lot of speculation. Again, I was planning on, you know, what we'd be looking to do in terms of videos, and would we have much to discuss? Would we do transfer specials and stuff like that? And he said to me, he said, I think you may well be disappointed, Gonzo. He said, I think you may well find that the deals have already been done. They've already been arranged. And much like in the summer, it will just go bang, bang, bang at the start of the window. You'll have your deals and that'll be it, because that seems to be the way we're looking to do business now. And that's absolutely fine by me if we don't, if everything goes under the radar and we're not sat on video discussing a load of rumours and the board have managed to keep stuff quiet and Julius has gone and done his job, then that's a success.
There's always going to be rumours, though. Even if we don't do deals, there's still going to be rumours. The papers are still going to make stuff up. So there's plenty for us to talk about. Whether something actually occurs or not is a matter of opinion. I mean, a year ago in January, or should I say at the start of this year, 2018, we still did videos every day for transfer rumours. We end up signing Jordan bloody Hugo.
Wait, we will make it up. Even if there aren't any, we'll make them up.
Might as well. I think that's what most of the rumours are anyway. The guy you're talking about is Miguel Almiron, who doesn't back play for MLS. It's 12 goals and 13 assists in 32 games as well. But he's been linked with £23 million. I mean, do you believe we have that much in the transfer kitty? Because I struggle to believe we have anything north of 15 million, and that's at the most.
We have a £45 million overdraft, and I think we're not that far into it. And I think we pay 1% to have the overdraft, and we pay 7% on what we borrow. So there would be money available for a signing like that.
At premium, though, it does come at a premium. I mean, I said this a few weeks ago, and I'm going to stick by this, actually. If Pellegrini does nothing in this transfer window, that's completely okay with me. If he says, actually, I'm happy with finishing 10th this year, really giving my squad 38 league games together, let me really evaluate who I want, and then next summer clearing out anyone not in these plans and going for another mass £100 million spend and bringing in 5-6 bodies, that's fine with me. Obviously, as football fans, we get excited by transfers, don't we? It's like we just get excited by it, and it's disappointing if you don't get any. And there can be a difference between 10th and 7th, for example, but is it worth it to got 3 places in the league? You might get, £6, 7, £8 million more, but in order to do that, we're looking at spending £25 million on a midfielder. So Pellegrini said, let's just keep my powder dry. Nasri's obviously going to sign. I think we can all expect Nasri to come in. We'll have to remember, in my head, Nasri's already a West Ham player. He's just not able to play until the 1st of January. He's been training for a few weeks now. He's still got another 3 weeks training to go until he gets offered a contract. And I'd be very, very surprised if he's not a West Ham player. We played Brighton at home 2nd of January. Would not be surprised if he was on the bench, Gonzo. I think that's how ready we will have him, ready to go on the dot. Free transfer. And it's already like one position that we could do with covered for free. One player we're being linked with in the last 24 hours that came out in the Sun of all papers, which isn't great, was Bradley Dack at Blackburn Rovers, the attacking midfielder. 24 years old. He is 25, though, on New Year's Eve. So while he's 24 now, by the time we buy him, he'll be 25 years old. £20 million, though. this is a strange one because I'm a fan of going into the lower league. I think there's talent there, but he's 25. He has to be ready to go into our first team, in my opinion, at that age. And I think Ryan Fredericks was sort of in that area as well. And he's not cut it yet. So if he was 21, I'd say this is a no-brainer. Get him in. He's 25. Has he? I mean, a year and a half ago, he was £750,000. That's all he's cost Blackburn just 18 months ago. So what did you make of this rumour?
Well, I didn't know the player. So I went and had a look at him, and he looks really, really good. I mean, he looks very good indeed. He looks... Frederick's slightly different. Frederick's game is based so much on pace as well, and he was coming in with a new manager and a lot of other new players as well. This guy looks a little bit different. He's very, very skillful, and he looks like he's got the strength to shield the ball so as he can do that skill as well. How well they're going to perform in a higher division, you don't know, but that is sort of the going rate. I don't know what thingamajig paid for Madison, but that is sort of the going rate for a star in the Championship. So I'm not adverse to buying a player. Let's get that right, particularly in the area where we're going to need it. What I would like them not to do is go and buy another centre-back or another wide player, because I think they're covered with the youth team, which he's not been scared to use. As we say, if Arnautovic comes back, we've got plenty of forwards. But I do think central midfield, and dare I say that sort of problem area of the left back maybe, might need addressing. Certainly central midfield, particularly I think for the way that he wants to play. And we've got a player there in Obiang who clearly doesn't have a future under Pellegrini. So actually, if it means we almost spend some of next summer's money early, we get a loan from that overdraft with a view to that being the guy that will be Obiang's replacement. If we can get him in 6 months earlier, to settle, then I think I would certainly be up for doing that. Whether this Bradley Dack thing is something that happens, I don't know. But what I saw, he did look very, very good.
11 goals and 6 assists in just 18 appearances for Blackburn this season. He nearly involved in a goal every game, nearly. He's a bit more of an attacking midfielder for me. In the last couple of games now, we've been playing 4-4-2. We don't have a Bradley Dack position in that formation if he's going to stick with that long term. I know Pellegrini likes to adapt, he likes to change, and sooner or later we might switch back to 4-2-3-1, but that's the formation that's not worked for us this year. 4-3-3 worked for us. Still don't have a position for Bradley Dack in that. And 4-4-2 is working against the lower sides in the league, if you like. Still don't have his position there. So is Pellegrini wanting to play 4-2-3-1, but he just can't because he hasn't got the players, and this is someone he sees as the bringing in so he can switch to 4-2-3-1. I'm not sure. I'll be surprised if we would spend this much money on him. Madison, I think, cost less, about 25 million. But I'm sorry, but Madison is a different class to this guy. This guy's good. He's one of the top players in the Championship. Madison was too good for the Championship while he was in the Championship. I'm not as convinced on Bradley Dack as I was on Madison, for example. And we've been linked with a couple of fullbacks, though. The right back we're being linked with is an Algerian right back, Youssef Attal at Nice. Ever heard of him?
Never.
There'll be someone on here that listening to this that watches Ligue 1 that can tell us all about him. The one right back though that intrigues me, we've not been linked with him as such, is Raphael at Lyon. We all know from him from his time at Man United.
Oh, the twin, isn't he?
Yeah. And he came over under Fergie, didn't quite hit at Man. You went to Lyon. He's 28 years old now. However, he's out of contract in the summer. He's doing very well at Lyon. Is he someone you'd like to see here? 28 years old though, but is arguably that could be the right age.
Yeah, they always thought they were quite good. The twins. One played right back, one played left back. One played more than the other though. They were identical. It's almost impossible to tell them apart, wasn't it? So, yeah, I mean, always looked fine to me. Why not? Why not? I don't know of this form in Lyon, but I'm only going by what they look like at Man U, and they looked fine. But I'll tell you what, there was a lot of players that looked fine under Alex Ferguson, and then when the other managers and Moyes and Van Gaal and whatever got hold of them, they weren't quite as good. But, you know, I've sort of, the funny thing is I've got confidence now with Pellegrini there that whoever he chooses, this is why I say that all might be smokescreen. Zach and the fella in the MLS and these guys, they might be smokescreens for who Pellegrini wants to buy. But now, having seen Anderson, having seen Diop, having seen Balbuena, even Yarmolenko before he went, Fabianski, I do feel myself, and I feel if I was David Sullivan, I would feel quite confident of using that overdraft. And I would be saying to Pellegrini, look, that's coming out of next summer's money, but if you want him early, you've proven yourself as a judge of a player, we're willing to back you. So whoever he brings in, I trust him. I really do, and I'm excited, even if it's whatever, a freebie or a young player. What I was going to say, loan player. I don't think we're going to do that. Looks like we ain't going down that route anymore.
Yeah, well, we might be. We'll come on to that in a second. During the international break, Kusalos was over in Greece watching the Greece national side as he was looking at their left back. I don't know the name. I didn't write it down. I forgot. I'm sorry. But there's a Greek left back.
Oh, is it Doublopoulos?
We'll just go with that. Why not?
Yeah, good.
But there's a Greek left back we're maybe looking at and bringing in. And then, of course, there's the one that we're being linked with today is a potential loan deal till the end of the season, is Liverpool's Nathan Clyne. Funny enough, we spoke about him in the summer because I was saying Clyne, Gomez and Alexander Arnold at Liverpool. I would like to go get one of them. Gomez has now moved into centre midfield and is one of the best young players in the country now. But Clyne's still not getting a look in at Liverpool. A loan deal, would that be for me, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, a very good player. But funny enough, with Crystal Palace coming up, as many regular watchers will know, one of my oldest friends, best man to be wedding, is a Crystal Palace fan. So over the years, I've heard lots about Crystal Palace. Nathaniel Clyne has always been a very good player. So yeah, that's a no-brainer. It shows how well Alexander Arnold is doing at right back at the moment. That Clyne's not getting a sniff.
Would you buy him permanently if you could? Because obviously there's all this uncertainty over Zabaleta, and part of me's resigned to the fact that I don't think he'll be here next season. I think he's going to go for a new challenge. He spoke about going abroad and stuff. I've got a feeling he's going to do that regardless of what happens at West Ham. I think we're going to need a right back. I would like to see us splash the cash on that position, actually. Everton have set the standard in the summer when they went and got their left back, Dignity. They spent 25 million on him. Leicester have done it with Pereira at right back. These teams are spending big money on fullbacks, and I think they're such a pivotal part of a game now. The fullbacks are so important going forward as they are defensively. And to a system like Pellegrini, I think we now need to start spending money on two fullbacks, a right back and a left back. I think we need to chuck money at those positions in the summer. So if Nathan Clyne was available for 20, 25 million, would you say that's a good deal? Get him in and spend a lot of the budget on that position?
Even if Zabaleta was going to stay for an additional 12 months, that's still not reason enough not to do it. To use a double negative, it still has to be done. We still have to plan. Otherwise, we just do another 12 months, get to the end of Zabaleta, and then what are we going to do now? Where it's almost panic station. So you have to plan, and if during those 12 months Zabaleta gets phased out, well, surely that's the plan, and that's how it should be anyway. With regard to what you were saying about how important it is, we made the point yesterday in the review that there was a point when almost Diop was holding a right back position. Bono was almost holding a left back position. So the two centre backs completely split. Mark Noble sat in the middle, and the full backs were way in advance of the halfway line, and so were the wingers. Well, if this is what we're going to do with this formation, then they, as you say, they are integral positions. That's something that we certainly need to look at. And you're right. I mentioned earlier, central midfielder, left back, right back is a concern and something we need to be looking at. So yeah, I would say the same rule applies. If there's money in the kitty and it means we don't have to make the decision in the summer, do it now.
Yeah, it massively hinges on Zabaleta though, because if he does do another year, you can get off with just delaying it for another year. And if there's no one that tickles our fancy, saying actually we don't need to spend money. Zabaleta is here. We do have Fedrich. We can delay this for 12 months or 6 months and continue scouting. But Zabaleta goes at the end of his contract this summer coming up. We need something in place. We need a plan in place and stuff. And I think it's massively important that we know what Zabaleta is intending on doing well before he actually goes ahead and does it. Come April, we should know exactly if we need a right back or not.
The club, to be fair, Geo, the club might know. The club probably do know. Do we know that the club possibly do? And the other thing is Nathaniel Clyne, he's not a risk. He is a Premier League proven player. Very good. He played for England, didn't he? Played for England at right back as well. He's a good standard player. Yeah,
I would be delighted with him here. I would really be happy if Clyne came to West Ham. And before a couple of weeks ago now, but we haven't done a cup of tea since then. There's rumours about Hernandez leaving. He's said, and I can't quote, but roughly basically said, I want minutes. I'm not getting them, so I'm open to a move in the transfer window. Were you concerned about that at all? Or
no, I wasn't, because at the time he he hasn't got his scoring boots on. Now he's got his scoring boots on. I'm not concerned either, because he will be happier now, and he ain't going to be allowed to go, as Pellegrini is the boss, and Pellegrini will decide who goes and who stays, and does so with a calm and quiet authority. So I'm not concerned. If Pellegrini doesn't want to lose him, then he won't lose him. And if Hernandez is scoring goals and picking up 140 grand a week, I'm sure he can find some happiness in that.
I don't understand why people get annoyed at these quotes and stuff. It's the same with the Arnautovic stuff when it came out saying Arnautovic wants to play for a bigger club. Good. I want him to have that. I'd be disappointed if someone ever came here and said, I want to play for a club like West Ham and I have no ambitions to win trophies and stuff. I'd be a bit concerned. I think, well, you're only here for the money then, ain't you? That's why when Declan Rice talks about winning Premier League titles, now I know that means he's going to have to leave, but good. That's what I want. That's the attitude I want, because in order to go to Man City and that, he's going to have to be picking up man and match every single week here. And when he does that, his value goes up and up and up and up. And, you know, it gives the board the challenge. You need to create a squad that these players no longer want to leave. They're happy here. We are ambitious. So when Hernandez is saying, actually, I'm not getting game time, I'd rather leave to get game time. Good. I want a player with that mentality. I don't want a player who's picking up, as you've said, is our record wage earner and he's happy to sit on the bench. I don't want that at our club. I want someone that's hungry to start, whether it's here or elsewhere. And he's getting his minutes now, and he's taking his chance very, very well against Newcastle. He's now got an opportunity against Crystal Palace to become our main striker for the next few weeks at the very least. And if Arnautovic comes back and Hernandez is scoring, well, sorry, Arnautovic, but we've now got a new number one striker here. Hernandez has the perfect opportunity. Only he can mess this up. It's as simple as that. He's a bit fortunate that Arnautovic got a hamstring, perhaps, but you know, his opportunity is there, and if he doesn't take them, it's his own doing. The FA Cup draw's been done. Birmingham at home. You looking forward to that one? Bit tasty. I mean, that's like the away end and the home end will be not liking our owners at that one.
I am looking forward to that, and I'll tell you why I'm looking forward to that, because my nephew, so my sister's son, he's not really shown much interest in football, but he started to, and we've managed to ensnare him into West Ham. So for that game, so my old man said maybe that might be a nice one to take him to give him his first game. So actually, myself, my brother-in-law, my nephew, my son, my old man, we're going to go down and do a family thing for the boys' first ever West Ham game. So you know, that in itself, I'm very much looking forward to it. And in terms of the football, you've got the whole dynamic of you know, the return, well, not the return, but Karen Brady, David Sullivan, David Gold, their old club coming down. So you're going to have that dynamic. They're obviously not popular with the Birmingham City fans, largely for the way they were run, and then who they sold them to, Carson Young, who consequently got banged up in a Chinese nick. And so it's interesting. But I mean, football in terms, home draw to a lower league club. I want to win the FA Cup. I look at us now. This is what it's all about. I want to win it. You know, you can give me, and then the round after, if we win that, give me another crap team at our own ground. And you know, but bring it on. Do I need to have the glory of playing Chelsea at Wembley? No, absolutely not. I'll tell you what. If the final was West Ham versus Accrington Stanley at Wembley, I'd take that all day long. You know, bring it on. I want to win a trophy.
I completely agree. Our tie against Birmingham is tasty, but that's now our most important game of the season. And until we win it, hopefully, then we'll get the next FA Cup game. That becomes our most important game of the season. To me, anyway, that's what it is. It won't be easy, though. They do score a lot of goals. So it'll be tasty. I know the police will be worried. The team in the Premier League with the most arrests against the team with the most arrests in England. So it's going to be a busy night for the police possibly in the FA Cup game when they come to town. A couple of youngsters, though. Xander Silva's back from his injury and scoring. He can't be too far. I don't think he was too far off the first team squad before he got his injury, but he's come back and he's hit the ground where he left off.
Looks really exciting. And I saw one of those goals. There was a lovely run from Josh Pask at the back, who brought the ball out majestically, and it was involved him and Holland, and then Silva, and between them scored an absolutely lovely goal. Yeah, he looks very exciting. I was talking last night about, actually it's today. It's today when I was at work, and we were sort of discussing how Martinez was a good finisher and is a good poacher, but in terms of the Premier League, some of the attributes you might need, he didn't have an awful lot of the others. He wasn't one for the killer ball, and maybe athletically he wasn't quite there. Well, this boy Silva, he can finish, and athletically he's very talented as well. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch.
He might very well get his chance now with congestion coming up and Arnautovic's injury as well. He might get an opportunity on the bench, and hopefully he grabs it if he does get it. The other young player, though, while you're Nathan Holland's biggest fan on here, the youth player I'm the biggest fan of is Marcus Brown. He's been doing bits for Oxford United recently. Have you been keeping an eye on that?
Oh, I saw a really lovely flourish in particular from him. A really lovely sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but he flicked it. I don't know. He flicked it backwards through the geezer's legs and ran off down the wing. It was very, very impressive.
Goals and assists he's getting over there. And there's a couple of Oxford United fans, when I put up on Twitter about how he's got an assist and a goal for Oxford United, a couple of them fans replied saying, like, leave him be. Do not come back and get him. Leave him here because he's head and shoulders one of the best players in the league here. I'm still excited by him, even over Xander Silva. Now, I know he's doing well for the under-23s. As Marcus Brown, I really cannot wait to see back at West Ham. But what I will say is I don't want him back in January. I know there was some people saying, oh, should we call him? No, leave him. Just leave him. Even if he gets a hat-trick for the next 3 games in a row, just leave him. Because we did this with Vs Oxford last year, and we ballsed it right up. He settled in, started getting games, and we said, back you come. He came back and sat on the bench for the FA Cup game, then went back to Germany. You go, then he had to start all over again. We pissed him off massively. But Marcus Brown, just leave him at Oxford United, no matter what he does, and let's just hope he continues getting assists, continues getting goals. And actually, I hope he's a part of our squad next season. I really, really do. He's someone I've been looking forward to for a while. He's had that big injury, which is over now. And nearly every game in the under-23s, he was getting a goal or an assist. And it looks like he's starting to do the same at Oxford United now he's settled in. He's what a player he could be. The capacity, Gonzo, the LLDC and West Ham are going to go toe-to-toe in the court. And then LLDC bottled it. They did a Spurs. They bottled it. Didn't fancy it. It's going up to 60k soon. They don't really know when. Season tickets, half-season tickets are now on sale, which will start from the Brighton game on the 2nd of January. And in the email, which a few people have sent it to me because they've said, well, look at the email I've got. I'm not even on the bloody waiting list. People, I've seen a couple of people with a season ticket get the email saying, you're on the waiting list, blah, blah. But it says in it, if we don't get the certificate, you'll get your money back. So we're selling season tickets that we don't have a certificate for. You always have to assume the club are very confident in it being ready for Brighton. But is this good news? Up to 60k?
Possibly. It always depends how the team are performing. There's look, I mean, there's been a lot of empty seats. There's been an awful lot of empty seats, and that's been for a long, long time. And I don't, in many respects, don't know why we're doing it. But there's been some pretty poor football on offer. If a run continues and we start playing, football where we're attacking all the time, then people are going to want to come and see some of these players. So I think you've already got the hardcore of West Ham fans in there. You've already got everyone that was in Upton Park. And if there was a couple of us, stragglers who are still West Ham, who maybe didn't have a ticket before, maybe because they're priced so much, they're already there. So actually anything on top of that, I'm sorry to say you are sort of looking to invite tourists or to invite new fans. Maybe tourists is a bad word.
I think you're right, though. That is what they're looking for. I think it'll be new in residents as well. Do you know this 100,000 free tickets? The club have obviously agreed something with the LLD, so I wouldn't be surprised if part of that is some of these free tickets are getting passed over now, and we're going to see more and more of them used up because the ticket exchange now is nearly null and void for me. I've seen people last night complaining their ticket for the Cardiff game didn't sell, which is understandable. I mean, it's expected. I mean, you didn't go because we can't get there midweek. I live in Aberdeen, you live miles away, and it was obvious that there was a lot of empty seats when you were watching the game and stuff. I think there was about 45,000 people there, so there's 11,000 people didn't turn up. I gave my ticket away for free because I just wanted someone to use it, but it's good news in a way, but I think the ticket exchange is now pretty much dead, really. I think this kills it completely.
Yeah, but I think, I forgot. In all honesty, I forgot to put my ticket on there. So would I forget if I was getting, because I've got my son's ticket as well. Would I forget if I was getting 40, 50 quid back? Probably not. If I thought I was going to get a fiver back or something, which is, then yeah, you forget, don't you? Of course you're going to. So I didn't quite manage to do it, but tickets are cheap anyway, which is they made a large play on that, and that was how we're going to get the stadium full up. I'd still maintain, I think that's a really good crowd. You've got to remember where we came from. Even if you forget the official attendance, 45,000 people attended a midweek game against Cardiff. And let's be fair, it's not just my trains that are in trouble. So many people. Tony's coming over. Almost every time Tony comes up to the game, he's on the phone saying, I've had a redirected bus route. I've had to get off at Newbury Park. What is it, C2C and all that. There's so many disrupted trains. Actually, you look at where we come from, 34,000 to Upton Park. For 45,000 to go there on a Tuesday night, is a good crowd against Cardiff. Come on, it's a good crowd. So we've done all right. And it is priced cheaply enough that people can afford to miss it. Others just can't get there, so they're gonna. Does it mean that we will have a whopping great crowd of 60,000 for when we play? I don't know, whatever, Man United or whoever in a crunch game or Tottenham, maybe we will. But the rumour is then that they want to move it up to 66. I mean, they're really going to have to put up, the football needs to continue to improve, and we're going to have to be a very, very attractive watch to get 66,000 in there. If we do, fair play.
Yeah, indeed. I completely agree with you. Last bit of news, the BBC 3 documentary on West Ham women, or Jack Sullivan, whichever way you want to look at it. I think it's titled Britain's Youngest Footballing Boss. Have you watched it? The first 2 episodes are out.
No, I haven't.
I watched the first episode today. It's what you'd expect, really. It's nothing special. It's not disastrous. It's not cringy as I thought. I feared it might be a bit, but it's nothing. There's nothing juicy, unfortunately. There's no, when you watch these things, you want to see something, you want to see behind the scenes of a football club, if you like, and there's not that really. It's a bit more of an informative documentary rather than anything else, but it is only the first episode. If you follow West Ham women, there's nothing you don't know about already, i.e. they tell you they've hired a new manager and stuff, but, it starts in June this year when they get accepted into the Women's Super League, so any exposure is good exposure.
No, it is. It is because it's a game that's looking to grow. There's no doubt about it. It's got a hell of a lot of catching up to do. It's West Ham women, hasn't it? West Ham ladies, of course. So yeah. So and particularly that first season in the top division is a crucial one. So you're right. Any exposure that gets a little bit of interest, because that disastrous game, of course, didn't they? The first ever game out on telly was a thumping, wasn't it? 7-8-0 or something like that. So, but they're doing obviously having better results now. So yeah, we should. It's you're right. That is good publicity and important publicity for them.
They're mid-table now. They are mid-table. There's like 10 points ahead of bottom, but they're like 10 points behind City and Chelsea at the top there. I've been to 2, I think it's 2 games I've been to, maybe it's 3. I think it's just 2 I've been to. It's all right, actually. It's not too bad. There's none of this feigning injuries and stuff. I mean, the football there's no Felipe Anderson running down the wing, that's for sure. But it's not that bad. The manager they've got does try and make them play football. There's no hoof it. They don't hoof it about. They do try and pass the ball about at the back and midfield and work it like that. So it's not too bad. And for £5 for a season ticket, if you're a season ticket holder at the London Stadium, it's a £5 to get in. It's worth a £5 for something to do for the day, and the kids are £2 or something like that. So it's not too bad. It doesn't break the bank. But anyway, you ready for questions from social media? And then
yes, mate. Yes.
So the first one is from JPWHU TV. Is with Arnautovic out for a few games, should we be starting with 2 up front to secure the points in December?
I'm loving the 2 up front. I absolutely love this. I've waited a long time for this. Not just West Ham, to be fair. I've sort of turned my nose up at just a trend that sort of happened in football largely. I love all the strike partnerships. Not even just West Ham. You look at the Man United were doing their thing, Cole and York, and even when they went off, they'd be Solskjaer and Sheringham and all the rest of it. When Blackburn won, and when it's Shearer and Sutton and all this, even Chelsea had good Johnson and Hasselbank together. I've always liked the thought of a strike partnership, and partnerships are good. Same with centre backs; they build up an understanding. And they've got someone near them. This trend that there's been towards an isolated one player up front, We understand why they do it. It packs out the midfield. And I was hoping that Pellegrini might do that, because when he was coming in, we discussed about Dzeko and Negredo with Aguero, and the fact that he did like to stick to up top. And I like it. I enjoy it. And I hope we persevere with it. I really do.
I hope we do for the remaining games in December anyway, against the winnable fixtures. Obviously, when we come up against the top six, if you like, then yeah, I'd like to see us convert back and drop one into midfield and tighten up a little bit. But at the same time, when we got beat by City at home, I didn't mind. I know it sounds really bad, but I actually thought we played well, and I was actually pleased to see us have a go and go toe-to-toe with them. But there was no fear factor, and I quite like that, because if we have no fear factor, it gives the opponents their fear factor, because they think, bloody hell, this West Ham side is, fearless. They don't change their formation. They just come at us. That's what we want to see. We've now got 3 strikers fighting for 2 positions. Hernandez has got one of them. Perez will probably start alongside him on Saturday. Then you've got Carroll chomping at the bit, hopefully on the bench. And this is perfect for Pellegrini. 3 strikers, none of them who are guaranteed a start, all competing for 2 spaces. We've also got other options if we really wanted to. You could play Antonio up there as well. So this is options glow. For the remainder of December, stick with this 4-4-2. It's working. We're scoring 3 goals a game. Why change it? Don't change it. At Mark Yawls, Mark says, Wilshere, what was the point? Obviously, he's referring to Jack Wilshere was out the squad, got an ankle injury, which is not the ankle that's kept him out all season so far.
What was the point in signing him, do you think he means?
Yeah, I think that's what he means.
I think it was Lanzini got injured. They needed to make a signing. He was free. Free. He was available. He was a technical player. I can understand why it was done. I absolutely can. It's just not worked out. In hindsight, is it a surprise he's got an injury? I know, and everybody that said they didn't want him to come, and there were lots of people that said don't sign Jack Wilshere because he will get injured. I guess all those people are now saying, look, see, I told you so. That's why we said you shouldn't have signed him. But I can understand why it was done. And I wasn't one of those naysayers. I thought I looked at his form and his performances and his games for Arsenal last season, and just taken on last season, it did not look like an injury-prone player. He was having impact on games, playing 1-2s, getting involved, being dynamic. And so I can understand why the transfer was done, particularly in light of Lanzini.
I still think it's an all right transfer, actually. I have no regrets over us signing him. I think we had to. We've got a player who's good enough for the top 6 at West Ham purely because of this injury record. It's just something we have to accept and put up with it until we're able to push on a bit and get rid of these. But we don't know how bad this injury is, though. He could be back for Saturday's game. It could have just kept him out for one night. So I think there's a lot of sort of understandable reactions where Wilshere's like, oh, well, that's it. He's buggered for ages. We don't know that. It could just be one game. We'll find out tomorrow probably when Pellegrini does his press conference ahead of the Palace game. Hopefully it is just a little thing, because apparently he felt it in training that was it. And Pellegrini's obviously thought, well, I've got Obiang on the bench. Just take the night off and hopefully he'll go again on Saturday. I still think he could become a really, really good player for us. And when he is fit, he's still our best. He's still one of our most technical, gifted players when he's fully fit. No doubt about it at all whatsoever. At George Lewis 97, George says, what is the meaning of life? No pressure answering that, lads.
Oh, dear. That's the eternal question. We don't know. We don't know why we're here, do we? None of us know why we're here. Crikey, religion doesn't know. Let's be perfectly honest with you. Even scientists don't know. That's the funny thing. They look back and they go to the start of the universe. Oh, well, we can't tell you about the start of the universe. We can tell you a little bit after the Big Bang. We can't tell you about the Big Bang or what happened just before. Nobody knows the meaning of life. Enjoy yourself. Be happy. Live every minute like you enjoy it. Be kind. Be nice. Be honourable to Tottenham fans. It's just some simple life rules. Yeah, nice balanced diet as well. Not too much Krispy Kreme donuts. I learned that the hard way.
I think there's that old saying. What is it? Life isn't measured by the amount of breaths you take; it's the amount of times that your breath's taken away. And that's why I've always thought it's a good philosophy of looking at it, if you like. And also make sure you take your missus up the Shard now and again.
Absolutely. Well, funny enough, that ties into another bit of advice, which Mike VP off the forum told me we were talking about health and all the rest of it, and he said basically you're meant to get out of breath at least once every day, and that's not mean a breathless like a surprise thing and a happy that you to it, but I think it's meant to be in a cardiovascular sense. You're meant to get out of breath at least once every day. Mixture of protein in vegetables and you might be all right. Not too much Xbox.
Yeah. Anyway, on back to normal football questions. At Rob1Oct, Robin says, our next 6 games are all winnable games. How many points out of 16 can we get? I think 11.
Oh, yeah, I think Watford might be tough. I can't. I don't know a number. I don't know. Sorry, not trying to duck the question. I don't know all the games so far, but I think Watford might be tough. I'd like to think we can. Let's see where we are. I think we could do Palace and we can do Fulham, and then we'll be 6, and then we revisit the question again because Watford are going to be tough.
I'm going to say 12, 4 wins and 2 losses, because I live by the theory that I'd rather have 1 win, 1 loss than 2 draws. I know you'll be unbeaten, but you get an extra point if you win 2 and lose 2. So that's how I'll go. I'll go 12. I don't think Watford is tough. They're in a bad bit of form at the minute. Ben Foster is really saving their lives at the minute. He's turned out to be some keeper. He's sort of reliving his years that we saw at West Brom, his high prime time. He's come back to as a different keeper altogether. At Don Mark says, now we finally have a forward planning manager with a medium term vision. What role can the likes of Wiltshire and Carroll play in the Pellegrini project with their huge expense and total unreliability?
Well, I think you've got to take them as 2 separate entities, and I do like the project. It's not even a medium-term project. I'm very excited to watching this project go towards its end. It's that Geo mentioned with Bilic, he mentioned with Moyes. Geo has constantly said, you've got to allow the managers long-term planning, and I agreed with the ethos, but I just didn't agree with the managers. This manager, I think now we've got him, we need to give him that. So I'm excited about the long-term thing. 2 separate entities though, really, I think, because Carroll just doesn't fit the way he wants to play. So I don't think he's going to put too much into Carroll in that sense. I think Wilshere, I mean, it's not actually Pellegrini that's paying his wages, let's be fair. And I think anytime Wilshere is fit, Wilshere will come and slot into what Pellegrini wants to do. So was it just me? I thought Carroll looked a little bit like a fish out of water when he came on against Cardiff, actually. I think he looked, and to be fair to him, he's been out for a long time, as he always has. But we often see him be out long periods for injury and come back and be straight at home straight away. He just looked a little bit like he wasn't involved in what was going on in many respects. So yeah, just 2 different cases there.
I think the Carroll thing, though, he came on when the game was over, in my opinion. He came on when we were 2-0 up, and we weren't attacking as much. We didn't have much momentum, and you could tell he got frustrated because he took a shot from quite distance with his weak foot, and I think that was just frustration at the lack of the ball. So when he got it, he thought, I'm having a go here, actually, and it just flew over the bar, and it actually would have been better off just not doing it. That's the type of thing that's probably going to irk Pellegrini, because he's going to think, what are you doing? That's not how we play football anymore. He's going to be thinking, it's 2-0, just keep possession. Pellegrini's a possession-based manager, and he won't mind you knocking the ball about at 2-0. He doesn't necessarily want you shooting from distance and stuff. So where do they fit in under Pellegrini? I don't know. We've not seen them. We've not seen Carroll or Wiltshire under Pellegrini. But I think there's like a table of players in our squad, if you like. At the top, you've got Anderson and Arnautovic, if you like, Lanzini, the untouchables, and then you've got the bottom lot, which are the uncertainties, your Masuaku, Obiang, etc. And I think you just gradually have to go through your table, working from the bottom, trying to offload these ones and replace them with better. And when you replace them, that guy goes into the top bar as well. And eventually you're left with like Noble and stuff, where you think, well, you were good enough, but you're not anymore. We want to push on. You're now surplus to requirements. It'd be interesting to see where Wiltshire and Carroll fit in with Pellegrini's style. At Arak on Dylan says, what does the West Ham way mean to both of you on a personal level? And also, do you believe that we finally have a squad that when they pull on the shirt, they really are claret and blue through and through?
That's really funny, actually, because we had a little thread on the forum, hammerschat.com, today, and it was about having it was about a footballer representing his boyhood club and a pride, and I made the point on that actually, unless you signed for your boyhood club as a boy and you stayed there all the way, you're never going to know. You can't ever act like a fan. And the example I gave was, maybe you might. I left West Ham out of it because it's easier to make the example because your heartstrings aren't on it. Maybe you're born and your dad says you're going to be a QPR fan, son, and actually you never get to go to QPR, but you're good enough to be a footballer. And then at 8 or 9 or 10, you go to Fulham's academy, you play a bit for Fulham, don't quite make it there, and then you go to Brentford, and then after that you might do a little bit better there. You might try and sign up for Sheffield Wednesday. But by the time you finished your career, how much of that QPR fan is there that that the dad put the QPR scarf and hat on? Probably very little. You've not travelled to away games. You've not been there, and you've not been a fan of that club. So how much is your heart in it? You sort of understand about the club, don't you? Because your family used to go and watch them, but really your love is elsewhere. So I'm not sure how claret and blue anyone can be. I mean, Mark Noble is claret and blue, certainly, no doubt about that at all. Some can learn to be claret and blue. I think Declan Rice is certainly going that way. Ginger Pele was one of those players, but do we have a team of players that are claret and blue? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that's the case. But having heard on TalkSport today a lot of the Crystal Palace fans' criticism that their players just couldn't be bothered, didn't want to play for the whatever, the red and blue or whatever they wear, didn't want to represent the Eagles, let's say. I don't think any club is far away from having players that just down tools. So I'm reluctant to say we've got cut our players out when they bleed carrot and blue. I wouldn't say that yet.
No, I don't think we do. I think they're playing for the manager. We have this squad of players with the same squad of players that down tools under Bilic, half of them anyway, and that couldn't be arsed in some of the games under David Moyes last season. How many times were we getting beat and it looked like they couldn't give two? Even Huddersfield away 3 weeks ago, there was no effort from half the team. They just strolled through the match and stuff. I do think you're right. Some players come and do buy into the club and they do start to support the club. Matt Etherington's one of them as well. I think he's, Gabby Don and stuff like that. The ex-players, you can't tell which one's still supporters. They're very vocal about it on social media. And they end up supporting 2 or 3 clubs. Matt Etherington is very Tottenham as he is West Ham. Gabby Don last night was very Cardiff as he was West Ham and stuff.
Ian Bishop.
Yeah, because you buy into these clubs you play for, and that's fine. But I think this squad right now are probably bought into Pellegrini. I think there is some players that have bought into West Ham. You're right. Declan Rice is probably the best example. So I actually think Andy Carroll has to an extent as well. I think Marko Arnautovic is bought into the fan base. I don't think he's bought into the club. I think Marko Arnautovic is bought into the fan base because he's the cult hero. I think he loves it. But if we were to soon boo him, we'd soon be like, oh, bugger it, I'm out of here or whatever. But this is just a job to a lot of the players. And I have no problems with that. Ogbonna, Obiang, Masuaku, I think this is just a job to some of those players. And you know what? So what? It is their job. That's all it is. They don't have to. As long as they give 100%, don't care. When I go to work, do I give 100%? Yes. But do I bleed my work? No, absolutely not. If I still leave the mother, it wouldn't bother me whatsoever. In 5 years' time, I wouldn't think, oh, I wonder how my old work's getting on, actually. Nah, I wouldn't care. But that is what it is. But no, I don't think they bleed claret and blue. If you were in charge of bringing in a left back and a right back, who would you bring in? And that is from Sexily Lanzini, Ibby.
Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, we know him. Hello, mate. Yeah, that's a tough one. Listen, my knowledge of left backs is pretty shocking. I spent all last season, not all last season, but a lot of it saying we should bring in Pereira. And Pereira, Leicester went and got Pereira. So, which, I sort of exhausted my knowledge of right backs. I hear there's one called Weiser. Is that right? He's meant to apparently been very good. He's on the radar. Do I know him or know anything about him? I'm afraid not. There was a list the other day. Weiser, Heinrichs. There was a list of a few different young up-and-coming right backs. Don't know. Don't know really. I think one of them was called, better get this right. One of the left backs was called Gaia.
Yeah, I don't know. And the left back I bring in is Scottish. Is Kieran Tierney from Celtic. I think he's just class. I think he's better than Andy Robertson was at his age, which is 21. And I consider Andy Robertson to be one of the best left backs in the league, in the Premier League now. And I think Kieran Tierney is better up here than Andy Robertson was.
Celtic.
It would cost a lot of money to get him out of Celtic, though. A lot of money, 20 million at least, 25 million. You know, you're looking at big money. But I think he's worth it, though, because if you buy him, that's that position covered for 8 years or something. You don't have to worry about it whatsoever. He's probably not that far off being a captain of Scotland. He's 21 years old. He's been captain of Celtic a few games as well. He's 21. And then while you're away, there's a Scottish League. I don't care. There's been players. Virgil van Dijk's one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. Where did he come from? Oh, Celtic, conveniently. There you go. You know, that's the perfect example, probably. Andy Robertson obviously come from Dundee United to Hull and is now at Liverpool. So there's plenty of opportunities there. But Kieran Tierney is the absolute must for me. Yes, Gonzo.
So which one plays for Scotland, Tierney or Robertson, if they're both left backs?
McLeish doesn't know what the hell to do, because in our last round of games, not the UEFA Nations, but the last round of games, he tried to play both, and he tried to play one left centre back and one left wing back. It didn't work, and Andy Robertson basically said, "You've got two really good left backs here. Neither of them are playing left back." And then in the UEFA League of Nations, Tierney was injured, so Robertson played left back because McLeish didn't have to decide what to do. So it'll be interesting to see what McLeish does in the long run. But I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to shoehorn one of them right back, for example, because they are both probably our best two players. It's just unfortunately they're both left backs. But it is what it is. But Kieran Tierney is the guy I would just love to see at West Ham United. Right back, Klein, I suppose, is an obvious answer. Depends how much money we've got, really. It would be interesting if this storm at Crystal Palace continues, and it really continues, and i.e. they're battling relegation stuff, I would not be adverse to seeing us go tens of millions for Wan-Bissaka. Because
get both of them, right and left back.
Yeah, like I don't mind Van Aanholt either, to be fair, but Wan-Bissaka is outside the top six. Bar Zabaleta, maybe, I'd say he's by far the best right back in the league. His tackling success rate's unbelievable. I think he's attempted something like 55 tackles and 56 of them have actually been successful. He's only made one foul or something. He doesn't get skinned a lot, and going forward, he's really, really good. He is special, that boy, but it'll cost millions. This is the challenge. When you're West Ham, this is our challenge now. You have to go to Crystal Palace. You have to go to Burnley. You have to go to the teams in the bottom 5, 6 in the league. You have to go there and get their best players and pay the money, as if to say, we are bigger than you. We want your player, we'll have him. We did it with Stoke, with Arnautovic. We went to Stoke and said, we're having him. And look what happened. They've got relegated. You know, we need to do that. We need to start, us, Everton, Leicester, we need to start going to these, not little clubs in a lesser position than us in the Premier League, saying, we're having him, taking their best players. And that's how I genuinely think we'll progress. The last one on Twitter before we go to the YouTube live chat is from the insurance number, Hammers fan insurance number. He says, what do you think the fans' perception of the owners are now? It's strange how a good run of form changes people's priorities. And he also says, do you remember my name?
No. But to be fair, he's in a terrible position. I saw he was quite active. I saw he was on Twitter today, actually. It's 2-1 something 0, something like that. It's 6-2-1-0-6.
Hammers fan 02380.
Yeah. The trouble is, he's now so established with his name, and you've now given him a nickname, which is insurance number. He almost can't change his name. Do you know what I mean? He's stuck with that row of numbers now. But anyway, so no, sorry, I don't remember. You know, what was the question? The owners. No, I don't think it's changed towards the owners at all. No, I think they've kept their head. I think it's going to take a little while. It does take a while. A lot of damage has been done, and you don't repair it quickly, you know. So I think they keep backing the manager. They make the improvements to the training ground that he wants. They keep quiet and keep out the media, and things hopefully just keep getting better. And then, you know what? But then it's just going to be really tough to move a club from its stadium, and with everything that's gone since then, to turn things around in a short period of time, really hard.
It's his name's Alan. I've remembered it because I forgot it last time and you tweeted me again, so I thought I'll make a mental note of this. His name's Alan, but I'm just going to refer to him as national insurance number. I'm afraid he's got that name.
Alan. His name's Alan.
Yes, it is Alan. Thank you. As for the owners, I don't think the perception of the owners have changed. I think Pellegrini's just massively taking the heat off them with the way we're playing football, etc., etc. And you know, football is a results game, regardless of what it is, whether you're looking at the manager, whether you're looking at a player's performance, etc. It is a results game. And because last season the results were crap, the football was crap, we didn't invest in January, everything was going wrong. So all the results were bad. So people got angry. And, we just had a question which we kind of missed really, was what do West Ham mean to you on a personal level? Well, most people reply everything. So last season, everyone got pissed off because the club means that much to them. Now, come this season, we're playing decent in football now, and everybody could see what Pellegrini was trying to do and it's working. So everybody's just sort of giving them the benefit of the doubt, if you like, and backed away. Now, when we drew Birmingham in the FA Cup, what was interesting was how many people said, it's a dildo derby. Sullivan and Gold are going to get it from all angles in the stadium, etc. There was not many people saying, they're lucky. It wasn't last season. There was a lot of people saying, this is the night the whole stadium's going to turn on the board. And it was interesting how many people were still thinking, you're not forgiven. We've not forgot. We're just being quiet about it because we're supporting the team. And at the end of the day, fans, we are aware that if we were to turn up and have a go at the board while we were ringing on the pitch, etc., the players would get frustrated. It would affect the results and it would affect Pellegrini and stuff. And we don't want to do that. But they've got the benefit of the doubt. We've not forgotten. We haven't forgiven as such. We're just waiting. We're waiting to see. I'll take one more from Twitter because there was another good one which I missed because I thought this was interesting. This is from another Alan, _ Alan, WHU Alan _ Alan says...
Oh, Alan. Has he got Alan twice in his name?
Yeah.
Welcome, Alan.
Yeah. Would you sell Arnautovic and get Callum Wilson instead? I like this question.
Alan Wilson.
Callum Wilson.
Oh, sorry. Would I sell Arnautovic and get Callum Wilson instead? What, just a straight swap? I wouldn't be adverse to that. I've got to say, if we had a bit of money and we could do something else as well. Listen, Arnautovic's not going to get any better, but I do. He's a hell of a player. Just watching him run past all those players last night, he's such a good player. Having said that, I think Alan Wilson would be a real handful in our team at the moment, and Pellegrini got his hands on him. Yeah. But no, ideally we'd keep Arnautovic, but I wouldn't be gutted if that happened.
I would actually quite welcome it. Actually, I like Callum Wilson. I think he's a good player. When Bournemouth first come up, he also scored his hat trick against us in his first ever game. Blah blah blah, Upton Park, and then he got that injury, which really he was out for about a year or something, and he's come back. And last season he did okay, but this season he's hit the ground running and he's just kept going. He has just kept scoring. He got his deserved England game a few weeks ago. Scored. Yes, okay, it was against USA and what was an insult to international football or England caps, the Wayne Rooney testimonial, if you like. But he played. He looked well. He looked hungry, and it was interesting actually because with all respect to Bournemouth, their players have only got so much ability, and I do like Bournemouth. They're interesting. I like Brooks, etc. But it was good to see Wilson playing with players like Sterling, Dele Alli, or whatever. Players of top six quality, and he didn't look out of place, and that intrigued me quite a lot. I thought, I like this. 26 years old as well. He's the right age, 3 years younger than Arnautovic as well. So would I do a straight swap? I probably would actually, because I think for the future, long term, it would be beneficial. And Arnautovic is not a striker. And you can tell that in some games. You can tell he is not a striker. He's doing well up front. He's by far, he's a fantastic footballer. I'm a bit confused as to what his position is now because he's no longer a winger. We've taken that away from him. But sometimes he just lacks that striker instinct, if you like. That chance he had last night against Cardiff when Anderson played that beautiful ball through and he tried his fancy flick. Hernandez would have probably took a touch and bang. I bet you Hernandez would have scored that. Arnautovic didn't. I think Callum Wilson would have as well. So I would go for the straight swap, which surprised you were. That may be a bit controversial. I think that might annoy a few of our listeners, actually.
But not the Allens.
Right, okay. We're going on to the YouTube live questions now. If you're watching on YouTube the live chat's there, pop your questions in and we'll fire through them. I've got 3 written down already. Gary Page says, where will we finish now? We're getting better and better.
Gary, hello, Gary. Where will we finish now? Well, look, I'm going to stick with it. I did two predictions. I did on our channel. I think I said 11th. Someone else's channel. I think I said 13th. Still think that's about right. You know, we're going to have a nice run of games now. We'll move up there. Then we're going to have to play some tough teams again. As I said, we will take that and a cup run. That's what I'm after. I would 11th in the Premier League with watching the football that we're watching at the moment, where we attack. It's funny, Geo said, Gary, it's funny, Geo said earlier on about the Man City game and us having a go. As soon as it's finished, I'll be pressing publish. I'll be pressing publish on a video that we've already got with myself and a couple of the other lads from the WhatsApp group, and I say as much in there about Man City. So I'm quite happy to finish 11th and start and watch this brand of football, because it's a totally different kettle of fish. It's a joy to behold.
I'll say 10th, and you know something that's a fun. I would have snatched your hand off for football like this in 10th at the start of the season. What a foundation it would give Pellegrini going into the summer as well. And there'll be a lot of players like Callum Wilson, like Wan-Bissaka at Crystal Palace, who'll be looking at West Ham thinking that's an interesting project they've got going on there. You know, make no mistake, footballers will watch Match of the Day, and footballers will watch West Ham on Match of the Day thinking, oh, they're playing a nice brand of football. And especially if they're at a club whose football perhaps isn't enjoyable. I bet you all the Southampton players right now would love to come to West Ham. They're getting beat week in, week out and stuff. The football's not great. I know they've just finally sacked one of the most awful managers we've seen in the league. But thank God he's been sacked. I was celebrated for some reason. I was glad to see him sacked.
Have you seen on social media people keep posting pictures of women from the 80s with long hair saying it's Mark Hughes? It's quite funny.
But the thing is, he plays football like the 80s. I'm actually delighted for Southampton fans, because when Southampton were 2-0 up against Man U and finished 2-2, I thought, I feel really bad for both sets of fans here, because the only losers are the fans, because they're both going to have to put up their manager for another game. But yes, but if you were a Southampton player, you'd be looking at West Ham saying, I would love to go there and play that football and stuff. So, 10th for me. Jamie Betts says, now, if we have a fully fit squad, will it be harder for our youth players to break into it?
Yes, but I think injuries happen again. You know, we're not gonna suddenly get a fully fit squad and then that's it. You know, forevermore. There will be injuries again, and there will be other opportunities. I think what he's shown is that he is willing to chuck them in when ready. And I was pleased because I think they've got an avenue in there. We saw Diangana when he came on last night, and he was full of it. He was up for it, and he looked really, really good. And also, I like the way Pellegrini drops players. Pellegrini is not afraid to drop a player. And managers that are not afraid to drop players are not afraid to put players in either. And Pellegrini will he's funny. If ever there was the coined phrase quiet authority, it's Pellegrini. He's the boss, but without being a twat, if you know what I mean. Sort of like Allardyce constantly had to display that he was the boss. You know, he was the gaffer, he was the governor. I am in charge. Well, I'll tell you what, Pellegrini does it quietly, and he is in charge. And if you're not doing well, he'll drop you. And if you're a young player and he thinks you can add to the team, you'll be in it. And we've got some good young players, so I would anticipate more being involved, and maybe looks at those young players and thinks, actually, I don't have to buy in that position. And that's why I said I wouldn't want to see us buy in wide areas, because Diangana's there now, and of course we've got Nathan Holland coming through as well. And that's the other reason I said I don't want us to worry about centre-back, because we've got some centre-backs there. Rice can cover centre-back, and I would like an avenue for Pask to come through as well.
Yeah, I think they'll get their chance. One thing Pellegrini will have done since he's arrived, Pellegrini would have seen how fans have reacted to Declan Rice. While we've always reacted to him, Pellegrini wouldn't have seen it until this season. Now, Pellegrini's probably thinking, you know, these fans love seeing Rice here. And now he would have been seeing, he's also seen what we were like with Diangana, actually. And Pellegrini's probably seen the stadium respond more to Diangana than most players in the squad. Says when he comes on, he gets a massive cheer. He brings on Hernandez, for example, gets a cheer, but not as big. And to a lot of managers, they might be a bit confused, thinking, hang on, how's their star player not getting a bigger cheer as their 18-year-old here? And he might think, okay, so the youth players are something the fans want to see here. He will also hear the fans being really patient with Diangana as well. If he does a mistake, everybody's quiet. Antonio does a mistake, so well, that's what happens, though. That is what happens. Pellegrini would have experienced that. But I do hope there's still a passageway for the youth player, but we'll wait and see, I suppose. Stan Fernandez says, if Haksabanovic comes back, do you think he should be given a chance in the first team?
If he warrants a chance, if Pellegrini thinks so. I mean, the thing is, he's been sent out on loan. It's not really worked out for him, but unlike Marcus Brown, who Gio mentioned earlier, so maybe it might be prudent, particularly if he's going to take on Nasri as well. It might be wise just to send him out quickly on another loan that does work out, and if he's talented enough, then he'll bring him back.
I don't understand why we signed him from, was it Sweden? He come from Sweden. So we got him in from a Swedish club. He's here for a few months. Then we sent him out to a Spanish club. Like, how is that getting ready for Premier League football? I don't get it. I get why you would send Oxford out to Germany, because he's already been in England and grown up, etc. So he's used to the English game. Now, surely he's not even getting experience in Spain, but let's just say he was out there and he was playing like Martinez is. Martinez is getting some game time, etc. But when you come back to England, you've still got to adapt, because the game you've just been playing for the last year or whatever is completely different to what we're playing over here. And if we are going to loan him out, I'd like to see him loaned out to a lower league club in England, like Marcus Brown is. That's why if we have to loan out Xander Silva, for example, don't send him back to Portugal for a season. There's no point. He knows what football's like. He needs to go into the lower league, a championship club or a top League One club, where he's going to get kicked about and stuff, and say, well, can you handle it? And that's what I think we need to be doing a bit more. So as for Haksabanovic, by the sounds of it, he's not played at all on his loan deal. I think he's made one appearance or something. Get him back now. There's no point in being there. Get him back and get him loaned back out.
Send him to Grimsby. To Grimsby.
Anywhere. Grimsby will do. Find somewhere with an Allen in the team and put him there.
Alan Irvine, manager of Grimsby.
That'll do. But will we see him in the squad at West Ham? No. Why? I'm sorry. He doesn't deserve his opportunity this season because he's not done anything to warrant it. Xander Silva has. Nathan Holland will. Now he's back. Marcus Brown has over at Oxford United. These guys have all been knocking on the manager's door through the way they're playing football. Said hasn't been. So, sorry, mate, but you've got to go back out and loan at least. I wouldn't be upset if we sold him. Do you know if we were to sell him tomorrow? I wouldn't go, what a waste. I'd think, it didn't work out, so what? See you later. Dan B, another young player. Have you given up on Reece Oxford?
I guess so. Yeah, I think so. I just, it's not that I've given up on him. Do I think West Ham and the manager have probably given up on him? Yes. So, pointless me keeping a candle lit in my bedroom window for hoping Reece Oxford makes it at West Ham. I don't think he will. I mean, he's been the biggest victim of Declan Rice coming through, hasn't he? He was, biggest thing is you can say Reece Oxford used to be the future. And Declan Rice came through, was the future for no time, and just became the present and the now, and that's killed it really.
I haven't given up. I'm actually annoyed if we sell him. There must be a reason, because Cardiff City, we had a vacant spot at right back. We had to play a right back there, and our manager opted to play our right winger there rather than our young centre back. Now you can argue that he also wanted to have an attacking fullback, and that's why Antonio would suit it more in Oxford. I get that. But Oxford, if I was Reece Oxford, I'd be disappointed. Also on the bench, we had Zabaleta, who's been rested, as well as Balbuena, who had an injury. So those two players made it on the bench over someone who's supposed to have a massive future in football. That does not bode well for Reece Oxford. I don't think we'll ever see him play a game for West Ham United again. He's still captain in the 23 still, so they haven't given up on him completely. The under 23s staff, if you like, are still saying, actually, no, this boy is good. He is a leader. He's still a part of our club squad. Unfortunately, the step from under 23s to the first team doesn't seem to be there for Oxford, and it's a shame. Actually, I feel really sorry for him. I know a lot of people say he took the money, etc., but I've got a lot of respect for him going out to Germany in the club.
We'd all have taken the money, Gio.
Yeah, I know.
We'd all have taken 20 grand a week if it was offered to us.
At the end of the day, it's semi-hypocritical, because the same people are criticising him are banging on the door for Declan Rice to go get one, So it is, though. It's hypocritical, isn't it? Because, yes, okay, Declan Rice has done it in the first team and stuff, etc. But when Reece Oxford signed his new deal, he had made a few appearances for West Ham. He did look like he was to stay in the squad. He looked like he was a squad member. It's just not worked out, unfortunately. Last questions from Forever Bolin says, what are your real names?
Chris.
My name's Geo. It's my real name. The amount of people I have to prove it to as well. There was someone last season, I can't remember who it was, in the bat and ball asked me my real name, and I said, and he's like, nah, piss off. I said, I bet you a drink. My name's Gio. He took the bet. the idiot took the bet. So obviously I was like, well, here's my ID. He's like, all right, okay. Why would I make that bet if I wasn't going to win it?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, it's funny that to actually make a bet with somebody that is going to have ID on them, but he might have just wanted to buy you a drink.
well, he could have done without being complicated about it. But like he bought the drink. To be fair to him, he did buy me it. But I just thought it was a stupid thing to do, because that'd be like me saying to you, "What colour's your T-shirt?" And then you saying, "Well, it's white," and I'm going, "I bet it's not." And then you go, "Well, let's bet." Then going, "Okay, well, of course it's going to be white." You would have made the bet otherwise. But my name's Geo. Can you confirm my name is actually Geo?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
It's not Alan. It's not Alan.
Alan, yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add, Gonzo?
Yes, I would like to add. Right, just as with earlier on, I'm struggling for words. I think the old man flu's kicking in. But earlier on, I wasn't struggling for words, and I made a video with the help of Alan, who contributed to it. And it's all about Pellegrini and how he's put a feel-good factor back into West Ham. As soon as we finish here and Geo says, subscribe if you're new around here, and all that other lovely stuff that you like to say, I'm going to press send, not send, publish. I need to get out of here. Yeah, so keep an eye on it. It's on the second channel. Look at the video on there, and we'll pop a link in.
It'll be on your screen now, what Gonzo's trying to say. It's on your screen now. And remember, you've got a child that watches this or comes to the boats or whatever, participates in the Hamish Chat anyway, about 13 years or younger. Please, can you email us, hamishchat@gmail.com, and just say, I watched the video, my child watches you, what you want, and we'll tell you what we want. Well, we don't want anything. It's what
we're going to send a child catcher out, a chitty bang bag, a nasty one with a long nose.
Also, well, Gary Glitter. We're not really. Please email us.
No. This will be one of those ones we're going to get the email from YouTube saying we're banning your video now. Yeah.
But anyway, someone is our 2.5 millionth viewer today, so congratulations.
I bet his name's Alan.
You do. You know something? I bet he's probably pissed off now, because he's probably wishing we just sticks to the national insurance one now. I feel sort of sorry for him, but from next week, he will be back to being West Ham National Insurance one.
I will never forget his name again.
Pleasure speaking to you as always. And here's the Crystal Palace game. I'll be back tomorrow night with a couple of people, not Gonzo, he's unavailable, where we'll be looking ahead to the Crystal Palace game, because also there will be at least one change as Mark Arnautovic is injured. And of course, we made 3 changes to the back 4. So do they keep their positions or do we switch it back? Gonzo, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me as well. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. And go check out that video with Gonzo and Alan. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.